Now coming to the pharmacokinetics of the inhaled anesthetics. You know that the general anesthetics, we have classified them as inhaled as and intravenous anesthetics. The inhaled anesthetics, they are gases and volatile liquids. When they are given to the patient inhales them into the lungs, and the gas goes into the alveoli, and from there it diffuses into the blood and then is distributed into the different body compartments. And we also know that for an ideal anesthetic, it should have rapid induction and rapid recovery phase. This means that to achieve this rapid induction and recovery, the gas must be changing rapidly, or its concentration must be changing rapidly in the brain. And this rapid change in the brain is brought about by different factors. The first factor is the solubility of the gas in the blood. How much soluble is the gas in the blood? This solubility is now again defined in terms of partition coefficient. Blood gas partition coefficient defines the relative affinity of an anesthetic for blood as compared to the air. That is, the gas is how much soluble in blood as compared to the air. Now, some of these inhaled gases have a less blood gas partition coefficient and some have high. For example, nitrous oxide and desflurane are a few examples where the blood gas partition coefficient is less, that is less than 0.5. And for halothane, it has the blood gas partition coefficient of more than 2. So the agents which have less blood gas partition coefficient are said to be less soluble, like nitrous oxide and desflurane. And the agents where the value is high, then you can understand that the gas is more soluble or highly soluble in the blood. So this is the first factor that determines this rapid change of the anesthetic agent in the CNS. You can further understand the solubility of a gas in the blood by this schematic diagram. As we know that the blood has to be diffused from the alveoli into the blood, and to produce its action in the CNS, the gas must have to be in sufficient partial pressure in the blood to attain equilibrium in the brain. For attaining this equilibrium in the brain, the partial pressure of the gas must be built in the blood. The drugs which are less soluble in the blood, they attain this partial pressure quickly as compared to the drugs which are more soluble in the blood. Now, in the upper part of this diagram, you can see that nitrous oxide, which has less blood gas partition coefficient, that is, nitrous oxide is less soluble in the blood, it attains this partial pressure quickly in the blood and then attains its equilibrium with the brain quickly. While in the lower part of this diagram, the halothane, which is more soluble in the blood, it takes time to attain partial pressure in the blood and then to attain equilibrium with the brain, that is to attain equilibrium between the blood and the brain. Therefore, we can understand that the gases with less solubility, they can build their partial pressure quickly and can attain equilibrium with the brain quickly, while the gases which have low partial pressure, which are more soluble, having more value of blood gas partition coefficient, they will take time to build the partial pressure in the blood and then to attain equilibrium in the brain. Again, we can further explain it by this graphical presentation where the three different gases are used. The x-axis shows the time taken by the gas to attain the concentration, high concentration in the blood, and y-axis shows the arterial anesthetic tension. And you can clearly see that nitrous oxide takes maximum and arterial anesthetic tension in less time as compared to halothane and methoxyflurane. The second factor which determines how rapidly the gas start will start induction is the concentration in the inspired air. The concentration has effect on maximum tension in the alveoli and the rate of increase in its tension in the blood. Obviously, as you increase the concentration of the anesthetic agent in the alveoli, the more rapidly it will diffuse into the blood and it will increase its tension in the blood. This means that increasing the concentration will lead to rapid induction. We take advantage of this pharmacokinetic factor for those gases which are highly soluble in the blood and have a high blood gas partition coefficient, as we know that they have slow induction time. Therefore, by increasing their concentration, we can increase their rate of induction. Now the third factor is pulmonary ventilation. That is, increasing the pulmonary ventilation rate causes increase in the tension of the agents with moderate or high blood solubility. Again, this is same as the previous factor. That is, increasing the ventilation rate, we will increase the amount of the anesthetic agent that is available to the alveoli and it will cause its rise in tension in the blood. Again, we take advantage of this factor for those agents which have high blood solubility and they have more blood gas partition coefficient. That is, the agents which have a slow induction rate, that induction rate can be increased by increasing either the concentration or the pulmonary ventilation. The fourth factor is pulmonary blood flow. Increase in the pulmonary blood flow slows the rate of increase in arterial tension, particularly for those with moderate to high blood solubility. Again, this is very simple. That is, you are exposing the gas, that is the inhalational anesthetic agent, to a large volume of blood. So obviously, it will take time to raise its partial pressure in that large volume of blood and then to produce its effect. That is, you are exposing the gas or the agent to a large volume of blood and by increasing the pulmonary blood flow. Therefore, it will take time to increase its arterial pressure in the blood to produce its effect in the. Another factor that determines how rapidly or how slowly the anesthetic agent will produce its action is the alveolar venous concentration gradient. When an anesthetic agent is delivered into the alveoli, it diffuses into the blood and from there it goes not only to the brain but it is also diffused to all the other body compartments. Then the tissues, according to their extent, they take up the gas, anesthetic gas, and the venous blood returning to the lung then contains very less amount of inhaled anesthetic. So this difference determines, the greater the difference of this venous blood returning to the lung, that is, the greater the difference, the more slowly there will be the induction process. Understand? That is, the larger this alveolar venous concentration gradient, the larger is the difference, the more slowly induction process will occur. During induction phase of anesthesias, the tissues which maximally exert their effect on this factor are the tissues which are highly perfused, like brain, heart, liver, and kidneys. So, when the agent is administered and the agent goes into these tissues, the venous blood that is now returning to the lung contains very less amount of the anesthetic agent and this alveolar venous difference then increases and the induction is slowed. So the agents which are highly soluble in the blood or highly lipid soluble, they are taken up by the tissues and highly perfused tissues and the difference, arteriovenous difference, increases and therefore they have slow induction. Elimination. The elimination process of these inhaled anesthetic agents is exactly the reverse of the induction process. That is, all those factors that we studied during the induction process, they matter during the elimination process, except for the two differences. The first difference is that the transfer of anesthetic from the lung to the blood can be increased by increasing its concentration in the inspired air. That is, for induction process, the induction can be increased by increasing the concentration of the drug in the inspired air. But when you want the recovery of the patient, the reverse process cannot be enhanced because the concentration in the lungs cannot go beyond zero. You know that you have the residual volume in your lungs and the gas remains there. Therefore, this value cannot be reduced to zero, and therefore you cannot enhance this reversal process as you did in the induction phase. And secondly, in the beginning of the recovery phase, the anesthetic gas tension in different tissues may be quite variable depending upon the specific agent and the duration of anesthesia. While in the induction phase, when the drug was given for the induction process, the concentration of anesthetic agent in all the tissues was zero. So these are the two differences that occur in the recovery process. Otherwise, all the factors, they are same for the recovery of the patient. And the gas is eliminated mostly through the lungs. But some of the agents, anesthetic agents, are also metabolized in the liver. And the most common agent that is metabolized through the liver is halothane.